Hey guys, JR Railroad here. Today we're going to be talking about G-scale couplers. I'm going to be doing a short series on those. There's a lot of confusion about which one should I go with and why. I'll show some of the different couplers available and my thoughts on which direction you should go depending on the type of trains you want to run. Now, any G-scale train car you buy is going to come with a hook and loop coupler. The great thing about these, take the train car out of the box, put it on the track, couple up and go. They're kind of the universal coupler of G-scale. The nice thing is they couple up real easy. They already came with the car ready to go. Some downsides: a lot of times on the different brands of cars, there'll be a different height. So you go over a hill and they'll just kind of uncouple themselves. Or if you're trying to shove, they'll climb up and cause derailments and stuff like that. So third factor is looks when you're considering coupling. We do model trains because we look at the real thing and try to emulate that. This is, of course, nothing like you're going to see anywhere on any railroad. It's a bit toyish, and that's what leads us to look into what other couplers are available so I can improve the look of my models. These things are expensive. I want to get the best enjoyment out of them, want them to look the best they can. So we'll explore how we can deviate from this and improve and get some better running trains as well. I will say I do still use hook and loop couplers for certain situations. I still like every once in a while getting out my old LGB 2-axle European trains, running them, and they come with the hook and loop couplers, and they work fine for that. That's kind of what started G-scale, mainstream and everything in the U.S. So. In that case, they're fine. On my American freight trains, I want to do something better, and that's where we're going to look into some knuckle couplers, looks, function, and what's going to work best for us. Alright guys, I'm making these videos because, in my experience with G-scale, I've had a lot of frustration trying to figure out which ones of these to use. I've played around with all of them, and hopefully this will help somebody out there make an informed decision on which way to go, save you some money and headache. But let's get started here. We're talking about LGB. They produce a knuckle coupler. This is it. It's the largest of our selection here, not even close. It's very big, out of scale, so looks wise I'm not a fan. And function wise it works well. It actually has the pin that drops, which is realistic. Then you push on the bottom and it releases. But function wise works well. Looks wise I just can't handle it, so that one's out for me. Let's see, Aristocraft, that's another popular one. They make a nice looking knuckle coupler. It's fairly prototypical. It's a bit large. Locks shut. It does have this big push lever, which function-wise makes it nice. Looks-wise, not so great. One problem with Aristocraft is they're out of business. So they've only been out of business a few years, but for me that's concerning. And if you wanted to buy a bunch of these to adapt to all your train cars, eventually you're going to run out of luck because you're not going to be able to find them. So that one's out for me. Let's see, Bachmann's another one. They make a nice knuckle coupler. It's kind of like the LGB with the drop pin. It has a little hole where you could actually put a pin lifter in there. So that's nice. It relies on, you see how this pivots back and forth. It relies on this bar to kind of spring it back into place. So your car has to have a place for that bar to go. Well, if you have if you're like me, you see it in a USA train car and you buy it. If you see a cool Aristocraft train car, you buy it. So you've got all these different things, and these aren't going to adapt easily to all your train cars. So that one is going to be out. So USA Trains, they're probably my favorite G-scale manufacturer. They make some really high quality stuff in their Ultimate series. This is their knuckle coupler. It's has the drop pin kind of like the Bachmann with the little hole in it, so you could put a lifter bar if you wanted to get crazy. You push up and release it. Looks wise, it's a bit toyish. You know, and all these companies will make sure to advertise that their coupler works with all G-scale brand knuckle couplers, and that's probably true. You know, here's the LGB and the USA Trains, and they hook together and they function, but does that really work for you visually? For me, it doesn't. So our goal is to find something that adapts to all the train cars. So that leaves Kadee. They don't make G-scale train cars. They strictly, in G-scale, make couplers and wheels and a couple things like that. But let's look at theirs. Now, early on, I never considered them because I thought they were ugly. This is their original. They've got a big spring on the side. Look really toyish. Kind of hook. Didn't like that at all. A few years back, they upgraded their design and turned out really looking good. I really like these. The little details, the proportions are right. The size is right. When you couple them up, they, you know, it's not exactly right, but those magnet things kind of give the illusion of air hoses, kind of give a silhouette of that. So those are nice. These are what I've gone with on all my freight cars. They have a couple different, several different models for different train cars. Here's some Kadee couplers mounted to some 1/29 scale USA Trains equipment. You can see, you know, size-wise, some people say they're a little bit large, but I think they're pretty close. They do make, Kadee makes two size knuckle couplers, the G scale, which is what you see here. They also make the #1, which are smaller, which are really meant for 1/32 scale, also known as #1, which is popular in Great Britain and with the live steam and stuff. But you know, as you can see, they look good, same height. They couple right up, and for different kinds of train cars, there's different models of the Kadees that you use. Over here, for example, this is an AML by Aristocraft coupled to an Aristocraft flat car coupled to a USA Trains box car coupled to a LGB hopper. And with a little bit of work and some Kadees, you can make them all couple in any order, same height, and look really good. Now, I didn't cover all the types of couplers in this video, just kind of the main manufacturers. But let's say you're strictly going to do a railroad set in the 1860s. You know, back then they used Lincoln pin couplers. These look really good. These are by LGB, but I know Ozark Miniatures makes some nice ones too. You know, that's prototypical. If you're going to do an old 1800s American railroad or something, that would look great. So just do some research, figure out what works for you. Guys, thanks for watching part 1 of my coupler series. Part 2, I'm going to go into what kind of Kadees to buy. for what situation, truck mounting versus body mounting, and how to install Kadees on your different brands of freight cars. So until next time, I'll see you then. Thanks.